name is Minister Dan Kamau. I just want to share with you some interesting facts in the Bible that I know you didn't know of. Did you know that Jesus actually fed people twice? But we only know about the feeding of the 5,000. Did you know that God and Jesus fed people, 4,000 people again, which was totally different from the one that he fed the 5,000. So the first one is the first miracle is the one that he fed 5,000, which is found in Matthew 14:15. Matthew 14:15. If you can allow me to read it very quickly for you. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so that they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, they answered. So not 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. This is the disciples who are speaking. And then Jesus said, "Bring them here to me," he said. And he directed the people to sit down. That's verse 19. To sit down on the grass, taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. They all ate, were satisfied, and the disciples, not here, picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those, that is verse 21, I'm reading from Matthew 14:21, it says, the number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. That is the first miracle, feeding 5,000. So let's dive into the second miracle, which is found in the book of Mark 8. Mark 8:1. During those days, another large crowd gathered. Since they had nothing to eat, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, "I have compassion for these people. You have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat." Remember the first miracle, it was the disciples who called Jesus. Now this is Jesus speaking to the disciples. "If I send them hungry, they will collapse on the way because some of them have come a long distance." His disciples answered, "But where in this remote place can anyone get enough bread to feed them?" Listen here. "How many loaves do you have?" Jesus asked. He said, 7, they replied. The first one they had 5, so this is 7. So you see, that's another difference. He told the crowd to sit down on the ground where he had taken the 7 loaves and given thanks. He broke them and gave them to his disciples to set before the people, and they did so. They had a few small fish, not 2 fish. So it's just a few. It's not mentioned the number, 2 fish. And he gave them, and also told the disciples to distribute them to the people. The people ate and were satisfied. This is Mark 8:8. The people ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. And listen here, the Bible records in Mark 8:9, about 4,000 men were present, and having sent them away, he got into the boat with his disciples and went to the region of Dalmanutha. As if that is not enough, Jesus himself, Jesus himself also spoke about that. So you may ask, where did Jesus speak? So let us go down to Mark, the same Mark 8. Let's go to 19 and see what Jesus himself said, so that I can prove those who say that it was not 2 miracles. Let's start 8:18. Mark 8:18. Do you have eyes but fail to see, and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember, listen to Jesus speaking, when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many basketful of pieces did you pick up? 12, the disciples replied. And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up? He then answered, 7. So I think now you understand how many miracles God did, and that's a knowledge for the day. Love you so much. My name is Minister Dan Kamau. God bless.